Gary Slappy for the record, for the court.
Yes,
Thank you. Your Honor, I was recently appointed. I did meet with Mr. Slappy, but there is additional discovery that I need to review.
Okay, so you're looking, all right.
Yes,
So
please.
let's go. Probable cause conference, August 24th, 2023, 9 a.m. Bond will continue.
Actually, I forgot, Your Honor, Mr. Slappy did want me to address the bond.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, his bond, I believe, is currently set at $100,000. Mr. Slappy does live in the area and helps to take care of his mother. He is requesting a lower bond and or a PR with the tether.
Respond.
Your Honor, the people are opposed to the request. The defendant, to give the court a little bit of the background here, the defendant was actively assaulting a woman when two honorable observers saw this and attempted to intervene to protect the woman that the defendant was assaulting. He then turned on them with a knife, stabbing one of the gentlemen 2 times, resulting in that man's hospitalization. In addition to that, the defendant he was previously charged and prosecuted for homicide, which resulted in a 2008 manslaughter conviction of the defendant. These 2 things combined make his guidelines substantial. If I was not as harsh on him in the guidelines, they're as low as 29 months to 57 months. The defendant certainly poses a risk of danger to the community, and he is looking at a pretty substantial prison sentence here.
Anything additional, Ms. White?
No, Your Honor, I was not aware of some of these.
Yeah,
No, Your Honor.
I didn't think so. Motion for bond reduction is denied. Bond will continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court calls the case. Court does call the case of the People versus Benjamin Bridges.
Alex Chebolowski on behalf of the people.
Ready, Judge. Torshel Feaster, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Mr. Benjamin Bridges. Mr. Bridges, please state your name for the record.
Benjamin Bridges.
All right, what are we doing?
Not much today, Judge. I have had no contact yet with Mr. Bridges. Mr. Bridges, I've put my phone number in the chat. If the judge would kindly give us an adjournment, if you would call us so we can try to move this forward.
All right. Probable cause conference, August 31st, 2023,
All right.
9 a.m. And Mr. Bridges,
Yes.
you can look at the phone number that he's putting in the chat, but also I'm going to give you a phone number I need you to call.
Okay.
And that's area code 734-222-6970. That's the Washtenaw County Public Defender's Office. You need to call there. Give them a valid phone number for yourself as well as an email. You should do that immediately upon signing off from this hearing. You
All right.
understand
Sounds
that?
good. Thank you.
Bond continued. Thank you. Court does call the case. People versus Scott Fenner.
Jessica Lynch on behalf of people.
Ron Brown, Deputy Chief Public Defender, appearing with and on behalf of Mr. Fenner. Mr. Fenner, please state your name for the record.
Scott Fenner.
Your Honor, today is the date and time set for probable cause conference. We will be doing plenty, but also not today. Because there is further investigation that's going on in this case, and there also may be issues of competency, what we're first going to do is ask for an adjournment to allow the prosecution to perhaps finish their investigation and see if there are going to be other charges. After that, then we'll look at what we'll do concerning the competency.
Okay, so how much time are you guys going to need to do all that?
I'm going to rely on sister counsel to give us a good idea.
Judge, I would say 3 to 4 weeks, to be honest. And my medical examiner, even on this case, isn't available till September 12th. So I would say 3 or 4 weeks.
Got it. Well, why don't we do this? I'm gonna set it for September 14th, without objection. 2023, 9 a.m. bond continued.
Thank
As denied.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Court calls the case, People versus Anthony Randolph.
Maria Ursinski on behalf of the people.
Ready, Judge. Torshell Feaster, Assistant Public Defender, on behalf of Mr. Anthony Randolph. Mr. Randolph, please state your name for the record.
Anthony Randolph.
Thank you, Judge. I've spoken to Ms. Kirby on this matter and to Mr. Randolph every day this week except for yesterday. My understanding is that he is prepared to enter a plea in this matter, Judge, to counts 2 and 3. Count 1 would be dismissed. Ms. Kirby has no objection to his release after the PSI is completed.
A correct statement.
Yes, Your Honor.
So he's pleading guilty to counts 2 and 3,
Yes, Judge.
dismissing count 1.
Yes, Judge.
All right, Mr. Randolph, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name for the record.
Anthony Randolph.
Sir, it is this court's understanding you're going to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor charges. Is that your understanding?
That is.
The first is the stated count 2 of domestic violence second offense. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year incarceration and $1,000 fine plus court costs. Do you understand that?
I do.
The other charge is the stated count 3 of malicious destruction of personal property less than $200. That's a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in jail, $500 fine plus court costs. The fine could be increased to 3 times the value of the property taken. If that's greater than $500, that would be the maximum fine. You understand that?
Yes.
You also understand, sir, that I would not be your sentencing judge in this case, and you would be sentenced before Judge Freshour in the 14A4 District Court.
I do.
Understanding all of that, do you still wish to plead guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
To the charge of domestic violence second offense, how do you plead?
Guilty.
To the charge of malicious destruction of personal property, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Now, you understand that by pleading guilty, you'll not have a trial of any kind.
I do.
Because of that, you're giving up certain rights. You're giving up your right to call witnesses to speak for you at trial or to have this court compel their attendance. You're giving up your right to see, hear, and question all witnesses against you at trial. You're also giving up your right to be a witness for yourself or to remain silent, not have that silence used against you. And you're giving up your right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand that, sir?
Yes.
You understand you're giving up your right to appeal of right.
I do.
Are you on probation or parole?
No, I'm not.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today on the record to get you to plead guilty?
No, Your Honor.
Anybody threaten you or coerce you?
No, Your Honor.
You're doing this voluntarily,
I am.
of your own free will,
Yes.
and because you believe that you're guilty of these offenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
On June 14, 2023, at the location of County State of Michigan, tell this court what you did on that date involving an Angelica Gonzalez that makes you think that you're guilty.
Her and I engaged in a physical altercation that resulted in us wrestling, Your Honor.
If I could help,
All
Judge.
right. You please.
Thank you. Mr. Randolph, on the day and time in question, you were intoxicated, is that correct?
That's correct.
At one point, you took a piece of meat out of the deep freezer and you threw that at the victim in this case. Is that correct?
I do not remember doing that.
Do you recall having a physical altercation with her when you came home drunk that night?
I do.
Do you recall her asking you to leave?
I do.
Do you recall when she tried to get you to leave that you put your hands on her so that you pushing her, not leaving the address on that day and time?
I do recall that.
And you and the victim in this case have a domestic relationship.
That's correct.
Also, while you were at the property, you picked up other items in the home and threw them what during this altercation.
Yes, in particular, I remember the pond on the deck.
Okay, and that caused damage to the structure.
I believe so.
Okay. Your Honor, are we close?
Well, I just want to make sure there was personal property of Ms. Gonzalez that by your actions was destroyed that night or damaged?
Yes, I believe it was the pond that was on the deck.
Okay. And had you previously been convicted of domestic violence on or about January 28, 2021?
I was, Your Honor.
All right. Counsel, have I complied with the court ruling? Would it be proper to accept this defendant's plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm satisfied, Judge.
Court will accept the defendant's pleas of guilty to counts 2 and 3. Count 1 is dismissed. Pre-sentence investigation and report is ordered at 14A4. Sentencing in this matter will be
August 17th at 9 a.m. with Judge Freshour.
August 17, 2023, 9 a.m. before Judge Freshour. I realize that there is the notion that the defendant could be released after PSI. I will indicate, and I don't know if that's part of his conditions. I have familiarity with this defendant.
Oh,
And I do see it. So I will indicate that defendant may be released into an agreement on PR after the PSI and after scram tether is placed.
Your
So
Honor,
he
I
has,
currently have a
the
scram
scram tether has, I'm sorry?
I currently still have a scram tether on my leg, Your Honor.
Okay, but if they try to take it off, you have to have that scram before you leave. That's my condition. Bond will continue with that caveat. Thank you.
thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court does call the case, People versus Shannon Galvin.
We're ready in that matter, Your Honor.
Ms. Kirby?
I can handle both sides if you like. Fenner Lauren Brown, Deputy Chief Public Defender, appearing with and on behalf of Mr. Galvin. Mr. Galvin, could you state your name for the record?
Shannon Galvin.
Thank you.
Your Honor, today is a
All
date. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, sir.
Today is the date and time set for the probable cause conference. We are respectfully requesting this matter be set for preliminary examination at the first available date.
Preliminary examination will be set August 22nd, 2023, 9 a.m. in person. That is before Judge Washington.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, this
Yes.
was also set for a bond violation hearing by Ms. Gaines and myself the same day as the previous. The defendant's phone privileges were revoked as he was calling the victim numerous times. I did send over those calls to Mr. Brown. We last had a hearing on the 27th of July, and on July 30th, the defendant began calling from other inmates' PINs, saying, I'm using someone else's tablet and someone else's PINs. There's 3 people's PINs that he is currently using. So I would ask for the court to block the victim's number from the jail.
And we have no response to that. Ms. Kirby did send the calls to our office. And I have spoken with my client about this. We leave it to the court's discretion.
The defendant's bond will continue His phone privileges will remain revoked, and the victim's number that the prosecutor will provide to the Washington County Jail is to be blocked from any outgoing calls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court calls the case of the people versus Alexis Jenkins.
Maria
Two
Simpson
cases.
on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Sam Bernstein with and on behalf of Alexis Jenkins. Alexis, could you please state your name for the court?
Yes, Alexis Brian Jenkins.
Your Honor, it is our
Edward.
intention to waive the preliminary examinations and agree to be bound over to circuit court.
Mr. Jenkins, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand the preliminary examination is a proceeding where the people have to show by probable cause that the offenses alleged were committed and that you committed them.
Yes. I understand.
You understand that you'll not have that hearing and that you'll proceed to circuit court for further resolution.
I understand, Your Honor. Thank you.
People also waive their right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Preliminary examination having been waived, defendant in both cases is bound over on count one. In the case ending 1-2-2-3, counts 2 and 3 will follow in that case.
Your Honor, we waive any further reading of the information, acknowledge receipt, ask the court to continue not guilty pleas, and ask for a circuit court pretrial date.
Defendant having waived formal reading, pleading not guilty, court will enter not guilty pleas on all of these cases, on all counts, I should say. Pretrial in these matters will be set for
August 23rd at 1:30 p.m. with Judge Conlon.
August 23rd, 2023, 1:30 before Judge Conlon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bond will continue. Court calls the case of the people versus Hesley.
Nicole Hughes on behalf of the people.
Sam Bernstein with and on behalf of Mr. Hesley. Mr. Hesley, could you please state your name for the court?
Okay, what are we doing?
Your Honor, Mr. Hesley wishes to continue to preliminary examination. I am hoping that this doesn't get scheduled on the 22nd. Please, I have a firm conflict.
People wouldn't be ready on the 15th.
Need to make sure. I don't know. We could try, but I don't know.
Want everybody to be ready, so preliminary examination will be set August 29th, 2023, 9 a.m. before Judge Freshour. It's defense that's asking not to set it for the 22nd, so I'm going to set it for the 29th. Bond in this matter will continue.
Thank you, Your
Thank
Honor.
you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court does call the case of the people versus Man Davis.
Caitlin Kirby on behalf of the people.
Sandra White on behalf of Man Davis.
Mr. Davis, state your name. They'll need to unmute you.
Say it one more time. Man Davis.
Thank you, sir. All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, in this matter, we'd like to set it for a preliminary exam, and I would like to address bond.
Preliminary examination in this matter will be in person, August 22nd, 2023, 9 a.m. And that is before Judge Barr. As to bond.
Your Honor, Mr. Davis has lived in the area his entire life. He does have a job, and he is willing to do an alcohol tether.
Response.
Your Honor, Mr. Davis has a very long criminal history. He has multiple violent offenses in the past. And earlier this year, he also had a domestic violence third that was dismissed. I would ask, since the preliminary examination is 12 days away, that the bond remain the same and it can be re-reviewed after exam.
Defendant's motion for bond reduction, given the circumstances of this case, is denied. Bond will continue. Certainly it can be re-examined after the exam day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Court calls the case, People versus Norman Johnson.
Caitlin Kirby on behalf of the people.
Sam Bernstein for Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, could you please state your name for the court?
Norman Johnson.
Thank you. All right, what are we doing?
Mr. Johnson wishes to set this for a preliminary examination, Your Honor. I, again, am hoping for a date other than the 22nd.
Preliminary examination, August 29th, 2023, 9 a.m. That will be before, gotta balance it. Is it us or Fred? Okay. Before me.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bond will, that's in person. Bond will continue. Thank you. Court does call the case, People versus Cameron Bright.
Nimish Ganatra for the people.
And Assistant Public Defender Emily New on behalf of Cameron Bright.
Mr. Bright, please state your name.
Cameron Bright.
Okay, what are we doing?
And Your Honor, we have not been able to get in touch with Mr. Bright, so we are going to ask for an adjournment and that Mr. Bright call our office and leave a phone number, or Mr. Bright, I sent you an email. If you could, you can also just email me back with a phone number if you got that email.
Mr. Bright,
Yes,
I'm going to
sir.
adjourn the probable cause conference to August 31st, 2023,
Yes, sir.
9 a.m. Mr. Bright, I'm going to give you a phone number you need to call. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Area code 734-222-6970. Immediately up, after disconnecting from this Zoom hearing, you are to call that number. That's the Washington County Public Defender's Office. You're to leave a phone number and a valid email address. Understood?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Bond in this matter will continue.
Thank you.
Court calls the case, People versus Candace Butler.
Alexander on behalf of the people.
Ready again, Judge. Torshell Feaster, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Candace Butler. Please unmute and state your name for the record.
Candace Butler.
Thank you, Judge. This is another case that I don't think we're able to get much done on today, as I have not spoken with Miss Butler. I did put my phone number in the chat, Miss Butler. I'm asking the judge for a brief adjournment so we can talk and try to get this matter resolved.
All right, would we be able to do that today or?
Yes, the number's in the chat. You can call this afternoon. Sorry, Judge.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry about that.
Probable cause conference, August 31st, 2023, 9 a.m. Bond continued. Miss Butler, other than you can call Mr. Feaster, but I also need you to call the Washington County Public Defender's Office.
Okay.
You got that number?
I do not.
All right. You got something to write with?
I can grab something if that's okay.
Go for it. Go ahead and grab it, because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you a number to call.
Okay, yes, sir.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Area code 734-222-6970.
Oh man.
You got it?
I do, yes, sir.
All right. After you hang up, you need to call there, give them a valid phone number as well as a valid email address.
Okay, yes, sir.
All right. Bond in
All
this matter will continue. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Judge.
I have an interpreter.
You have an interpreter ready? All right.
Good morning, Mr. Interpreter. You're in front of the Honorable Jake Cedric Simpson out of the 14A1 District Court, Washington County, State of Michigan. Our number is 1423.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm Maggie, Spanish interpreter, ID number 218146. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Madam Interpreter. Court does call the case, People State of Michigan versus Edwin Miranda Cardoza.
Llamamos el caso del estado de Michigan contra Edwin Miranda Cardoza.
Marie Rosinski on behalf of the people.
Hold on before you go on. Miss Weidling, you were a little bit slow on the draw. Can I have the interpreter sworn, please? I know it's your.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will interpret accurately, completely, and impartially using your best skill and judgment, and to translate from English into Spanish and from Spanish into English in a manner not before the court, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
All right. You can go ahead with your appearance, counsel.
Puede proseguir con las comparecencias, abogada.
Marie Rosinski on behalf of the people.
Marie Rosinski, en nombre del pueblo.
Alex Warren Green on behalf of Mr. Miranda Cardoza.
Alex Warren Green, a nombre del señor Miranda Cardoza.
Okay, what are we doing on this case today?
Muy bien, ¿qué vamos a hacer en este caso el día de hoy?
Your Honor, I'm requesting an adjournment in this matter.
Su señoría, estoy solicitando un aplazamiento en este caso.
With respect to our duties under Padilla v. Kentucky, we've referred Mr. Miranda Cardoza to Immigration Counsel.
También con respecto a el tema de el estado de Kentucky, que usted había referido al señor Miranda Cardoza a Consejería de Migración.
If I may briefly address bond as well, when the court's prepared for that, Your Honor.
Si brevemente pudiera referirme a la fianza, su señoría, o cuando el tribunal esté preparado para eso.
Would he be able to have the consultation with the attorney within 2 weeks, or did he need 3?
Él podría hacer esa consulta con el abogado en un lapso de 2 semanas o necesitaría 3 semanas.
Your Honor, when we spoke to the Michigan Immigrant Rights Center, they informed us they would not be able to do a consultation while Mr. Miranda Cardoza is in custody.
Su señoría, cuando hicimos la consulta con el Centro de Derechos de Inmigrantes de Michigan, ellos nos indicaron que no podrían hacer la consulta mientras el señor Miranda Cardoza esté bajo custodia.
This place says that because I've never heard that before.
Bueno, ¿cómo es que este lugar dijo eso? Porque nunca había escuchado eso antes.
And Your Honor, my basis for making a bond argument would have been that he would need to be out of custody to speak with the Immigrant Rights Center. If the court's not inclined to modify bond or release Mr. Miranda Cardoza on his own personal recognizance, then we would need to look into other counsel that he can work with. I'd request a 3-week adjournment.
Su señoría, con mi base para solicitar la fianza consistiría en que el señor Miranda Cardoza pudiera ser liberado bajo fianza para que él pudiera hacer la consulta con el Centro de Derechos de Michigan. Pero si el tribunal no está inclinado a liberarlo bajo fianza, entonces tendríamos que hacer otros arreglos para que él pueda consultar a algún abogado y sí estoy pidiendo 3 semanas de aplazamiento.
If that is the basis for the motion for bond reduction, that motion is denied.
Si esa es la base para la reducción de la fianza, esa moción es rechazada.
This case will be adjourned to August 31st, 2023, 9 a.m. Bond will continue.
Este caso se aplaza para el 31 de agosto del 2023 a las 9 de la mañana. La fianza continúa.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Maggie, thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Same here, Your Honor. Always a pleasure. Thank you for using our services. Good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Court does call the case. People versus Jonathan Ward Callahan.
Morning, Your Honor. Grace Broughton appearing on behalf of the people and standing in for the attorney of record, Amy Reiser.
Good morning, Your Honor. Assistant Public Defender Davi Lebo on behalf of Mr. Ward Callahan. Please state your name, sir.
I'm John Callahan.
What are we doing?
Your Honor, in this matter, we'll be seeking a competency evaluation.
Do you have the paperwork come over? No, of course not. So what I would do,
I have it filled out.
I'll order a forensic. We'll set a competency hearing. You need to get the orders over to me today for my signature. I'll set that competency hearing for October 5th, 2023, 9 a.m. Defendant's bond at this time will continue. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Court calls the case, People versus Michael Calvo.
Alex Jenkins for the people, Your Honor.
Ron Brown appearing on behalf of Mr. Calvo. Your Honor, can I have the case number? Because there's two Calvos on the docket.
Okay, this case number is 23 FB 1058.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. Ron Brown appearing on behalf of Michael Calvo.
I have two files. There's
What their father's son, they got different birthdays. Or they got the same name.
So this one is Calvo, not the second. So
it's the first then, the older one.
The father. Okay. Okay. All right.
Michael Calvo signed in, but I don't know who he is.
Okay, I have Michael Calvo, and this case, the date of birth on this case is
470.
Why are you interrupting? Why is he interrupting? I don't have a date of birth on that information. Let me just double check.
All right, you're on 1058, right?
I'm on 1058.
8/4 of 70.
8/4 of 70 is the date of birth on this one, on 1080, on 1058.
That's me, Your Honor.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, what are we, this case?
Your Honor, I'm requesting an adjournment. We're still trying to work through the restitution.
Probable cause conference, August 31st, 2023, 9 a.m. Bond continued.
Thank you.
Thank you. Court does call the case of People versus, is it Quing Newton?
It's
King. On behalf of the people.
Ready, Judge.
It's King with a Q. All right, I got you. All right.
Portia Feaster, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Mr. Newton. Mr. Newton, please state your name for the record.
King Newton.
Thank you, Judge. I've met with Mr. Newton. I spoke to Ms. Hughes on this matter. If we could adjourn this 1 week so I can get the mental health referral into the court. This is our first PCC.
I have it.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you then. If the court would not mind signing that and adjourning this out for 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to have him referred and see if we can get him some help, Judge.
All right. I will adjourn this out then to September 7th, 2023, 9 a.m. I've signed the referral and everything. His bond will continue in this matter.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.